I love you too. How are you guys doing?
I love you more!
All right, we only have so much time with you today. You've got a lot to do while you're here, but these few fans came together to hear from you. So I guess the first question, do you ever get used to this?
I mean, how can you, really? Yes, I'm English. I mean, you can't, you know, I'm 21, 22 in like 3 days or something like that. No, I've been Spider-Man now for 2 years, and I don't think I'll ever get used to this, you know? This is crazy. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. You guys are amazing, so thank you so much.
I guess the question that a lot of the folks out here would have is, were you a comic book geek growing up? Was comic something that you followed, read, I hate to use the word, but fantasized about being a superhero?
I never read the comics as a kid. I used to watch the cartoons and watch the films. My mum actually sent me a picture today of me with one of my oldest friends dressed up as Spider-Man when I was like 5 or something like that. So for me, Spider-Man was always the dream. So when it came true, I had to pinch myself. And then was in fear of getting fired because it just felt too good to be true. But yeah, I mean, I never read the comics until I got the job, and then I started reading them, and I only wished I'd been reading them for my whole life because I absolutely fell in love with it. And a lot of my lines in the film, I just stole from the comics. I just would circle things and be like, yep, stole, like the whole ATM fight in the film, that's straight out of the Ultimate Spider-Man. And all the stuff I say in that scene is pretty much straight out of the books.
How much, a question that I wanted to ask you is, how much freedom do you have in recreating an iconic character? We have so much of a history with Spider-Man. All of a sudden, they put the burden on you to play that role. Now, what are you allowed to bring to it?
Well, I can't change the costume. You know, red and blue, it's pretty much given every time. No, I mean, for me, like, I like improvising. A lot of the stuff I do is improvised. 9 times out of 10 it's rubbish, but then that 10th time it's really good. And then we explore that some more. So working with a director like John Watts is amazing because he allows you to do that. You know, he's not afraid to let you make mistakes, and he lets you work in an environment where mistakes are okay. So therefore, improvising is something that's easy. The Russo brothers said that the scene of me... Has everyone seen Infinity War in it?
Yeah!
Is there anyone who hasn't seen Infinity War in here? Okay, so cover your ears for this next bit. Cover your ears for the next bit. Because I'm not going to spoil it again.
Yeah, you told everyone that you
I'll tell you a really funny story. I was with Kevin Feige, the Russo brothers, and the whole team at Marvel, and what they do is they rent a party bus the night the film comes out, and then they drive around LA going to different screenings to introduce the movie or to talk about the movie afterwards. Now we went to, it was Friday night, the film will come out, and we went to this screening. Again, if you haven't seen the movie, please close your ears. We went to this screening, and someone had told me before, no, they've already seen the film. They've already seen the film. So they give me a microphone, I walk on stage, and I'm like, don't worry, I'm still alive. The whole audience look at me like, what the hell does that mean, dude? What do you mean you're still alive? And then I look on the side, and Kevin, Joe, and Anthony are like, shut up, stop talking. So opening night, I ruined the movie for about 300 people, so I'm so sorry for that.
But we've got to assume, since we know there is more to come from Spider-Man, there's another Spider-Man movie, there's more to still happen.
Is there though?
Yeah, there is.
Is there?
So I'm assuming...
Yeah, there better be. I like that. Whoever said that, there definitely better be.
So as surprising, shocking as it may be, we have faith that there is more. So I wouldn't blame yourself for ruining too much.
Do you know what? I actually know nothing about the future of the MCU purely because I spoil everything, so I have faith.
So is it
I don't
true
know.
is it true that the scripts you get, a lot's didactic, a lot's taken out, so you may not know the full plot of what's happening, you may just know your scenes? Is that true or false?
Did you say don't do it? Yeah, that is totally true.
Wow.
Yeah, and me more so than anyone else.
I've heard that too.
Yeah. On Avengers, I knew nothing. I saw a great meme the other day of like, why does Peter Parker look like he showed up to the wrong set? I genuinely felt like that. Like honestly, I was like, I'm in space. How did I get here? So yeah, I didn't really know much at all, which is quite fun because, like you guys, I'm a huge fan of these movies, so being able to go to the theatre and enjoy it as a fan, because I knew nothing about it, was great, you know. Tom Hiddleston at the beginning, heartbreaking. That killed me.
Tell me a little bit about how you guys make these films, because at this point, so many come out, and so many characters are in different films. Is it like a full-time job working on them, and are they being shot in the order in which they're coming out? Was Captain America Civil War first, then you did the Spider-Man movie, then you did Avengers, or are pieces being shot at all times?
Yeah, with Avengers Infinity War, you kind of had to be on call all the time. Like, I had my agents ring me up at like 4 in the morning, like, can you get to the airport? I'm like, yep, I'm on my way. And you just fly straight to Atlanta, you work for 45 minutes, and then you go home. It's amazing what the guy, I mean, the real heroes in these processes, in these films, are the people who do the CGI. The artists behind drawing every single frame, making us look amazing, making my muscles look bigger, I guess. They are amazing. They're amazing. I mean, honestly, the film is like a true work of art, and the Russo brothers captain that ship so well. And yeah, so for me, watching a film like that, which I know has taken thousands and thousands of people to make happen, is pretty incredible.
It's amazing when you watch the closing credits and you just see name after name after name, and you realize just how many people it takes to make those moments.
Did anyone spot Harrison in the credits?
Take me all the way back.
Harrison's at home right now. Because I'm only here for a couple of days. He's at home. He's looking after Tess, I guess. My dog. I've got more compliments for my dog than
They do love a good pet, don't they? Okay, so take me back.
Okay.
So you started off, you had parents who were in the arts, mom's a photographer, dad's a comedian, and what got you into this to start with? How did you first find that putting yourself out there for people to see you perform was something you wanted to do?
Well, I used to, when I was a baby, there was a Janet Jackson song. I don't actually know which one it was, but my mum always used to play it, and apparently I would dance along. And she thought I could dance, so when I was about 9, I think she used to take me to just a Saturday street dance class, which I loved. I thought it was really fun. And then through that class, the lady who ran the company, Lynn Page, she asked me to audition for Billy Elliot, which is a show on the West End in London. And I got the part. I was just lucky enough to get the part. I trained in ballet and tap dancing, gymnastics, acting, singing.
But it was a long audition process to get the part for you. You had to keep working at it, right, before you actually finally got on the stage.
No. I trained for about 2 years before I got onto the stage. And the saddest thing is I didn't keep up my dancing. But also, like, I trained in ballet so much, I got to a high level in ballet, and then you'd go to, like, a club when you're old enough. Ballet doesn't have the same sort of effect.
Hey, look at Tom pirouetting over.
You know?
Is that a pun?
But yeah, no, so I got the gig, and then I worked in the West End for 2 years, performing three times a week with a great group of guys who I'm now really friendly with still, and then I got spotted by an agent. And then my first audition was for a film called The Impossible. just make up a film I was in and watch you guys cheer. Yeah, and then that's kind of how it happened. That's how I sort of came into the world of film.
Did you like it when you first got into it? Was it something you thought, wow, this is cool, or wow, this is a lot more work than I ever imagined?
It's definitely a lot more work than I ever imagined, but it's so fun.
Yeah.
It's so fun. And the amazing thing about the film industry is it's not as glamorous as you think. Like, making a film is not a glamorous process, you know? Yes, you get to live in amazing places and travel the world and see the world, but at the end of the day, it's a really tough job. It's full of amazing men and women doing fantastic things on set, being so creative, full of like-minded people, which I love. And it's a really hardcore industry because people are really sort of pushed to the limits. And I mean, last year I was filming in Montreal and it was minus 15 degrees every day. Chaos walking. So yeah, so it's an amazing industry and I immediately fell in love with it. And as soon as I stepped on set for the first time, I knew. I was like, if I can do this for a living, then I've hit the jackpot, you know? And I'm just lucky that I'm here today.
Does it ever feel like none of this is real at this point?
And I just say, what's with this couch?
You know,
We're so far away from each other.
So what do you want to do about that?
We should bring some people up to fill this space. Can you turn the lights on?
All right, you've got a pick.
Wait, face it. Just a second, guys, just a second.
They have to be well
Just a
behaved.
second, guys. Just a second. Now, please be honest. Please be honest. Whose birthday is it today?
We're going to check IDs.
That's a lot of birthdays. Okay, this is too hard to distinguish. I'm just going to pick some people. Do you want to pick someone from there?
Want me to pick
I'll pick someone from there, and then we'll pick someone from there. This is hard. Birthday in the second row. Who?
Do I have any birthdays over here? All right, you think the girl from over there? Come over here and help me. So two, or do you want one more?
Well, if I want this three,
Well, help me pick one more from over here. I do not want the responsibility of picking.
Hi there. Nice to meet you. How you doing? Welcome. Come on up, bud. Why don't you come? Okay.
Did you get them?
Come on.
All right,
sit
we got
down.
our three. Thank you. Sit down. Sit down.
Hey guys.
Are these better seats than what you had out there? Because if you don't like them, we can switch you out.
Bella. Jayla.
Angel.
Angel.
You picked an angel.
How are you guys today? You good? They're good. They're good, guys. Well, welcome up on stage. How does it feel to be on this side of the convention?
Oh, to be honest, I'm shaking. I'm playing it cool.
I'm playing it cool.
It's pretty exciting.
It's pretty cool up here.
Angel.
I like it up here.
It's very exciting and I'm nervous because I'm so glad to meet Tom Holland.
Okay, we're going to continue our conversation. If there's anything you need to contribute, just let us know, okay? Jump on in there. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about your theater stuff. I was going to say Broadway, but your West End. So tell me a little bit about the process that you went on to become Spider-Man. Because it's not just you went to an audition and they said, you're in.
I wish. I was filming a film in Canada. Can anyone guess what that film is? No, not Chaos Walking, before that one. Well played, well played. Edge of Winter. Yes, I was filming Edge of Winter, and I saw that there was a press release that they were recasting Spider-Man to sort of bring him into the MCU. And I've been the biggest fan of Spider-Man since the beginning, so I rang my agents and just asked if I could get an audition, which I did, and I had to do, I think I did 5 self-tapes, which is essentially where you film yourself doing a scene. I actually did most of them with the amazing John Bernthal. which was awesome. And then I actually did his self-tape for The Punisher later on in the year. And I basically just did as many backflips as I could squeeze into one audition tape. And then I was flown out to LA for my first ever in-the-room audition. I missed my flight, which was terrifying. I thought I'd blown the whole thing, but it went really well. And then I had a screen test with yours truly, Robert Downey Jr.
Have any of you heard of him?
He plays Tin Man. And then Chris Evans, I did a movie test. That was pretty crazy. I was flown to Atlanta to do a fight scene with Captain America while he was filming Captain America Civil War. And I lost. He beat me up.
But that's not where the story ends. So you do all of these tests, and then what happens? Yeah.
The Instagram. So because, you know, I felt like I wasn't auditioning in front of just a team of producers, I was auditioning in front of the whole world, you know. Everyone had an opinion on who they wanted to be Spider-Man. And I saw online every bit of information about who was going to be the next Spider-Man, who people wanted, who people didn't want. Thanks. And then I saw Marvel post a picture of Spider-Man saying, go to our website to find out who the next Spider-Man is. And I'm like, really? So in my head, I'm like, well, I haven't got it because someone would call me.
But the day you saw that was was a sad day for you, because you had just lost a game of golf to your dad.
Thanks for bringing that up. No, yeah, I'd lost to my dad in golf, so I was already upset, you know, I was already sort of, thanks so much.
Oh, please.
Yes, but anyway, so Marvel posted a picture, and in my head, I'm like, well, I haven't got it. I'm down to the last two, and if I had got it, they would have called me. But you know, I've got to check, and if so, then I would text the other person who got the part, congratulations. And then I see my name, the new Spider-Man is Tom Holland. So I slam my computer shut, which has never worked the same since, by the way. I freak out, my lovely dog Tessa goes crazy because she's terrified of me screaming. And I run downstairs, I am screaming, I got the part, my mum starts cheering, and then my brother Harry's like, no dude, there's no way, they've been hacked. They would call you, there's just no way that's true.
You gotta think that's what your brother's saying is right. There's no way the way they would let you know is not let you know.
Right, exactly. You'd think they'd call you.
You would think.
Thanks guys, I love you too. And that's when Kevin then calls me. Let's have a round of applause for Kevin Feige, shall we? None of this would be possible without him, honestly. The man is a genius. But anyway, so Kevin calls me and he's like, Tom, I want to let you know that you're going to be Spider-Man. And I'm like, I know, Kevin, you put it on Instagram, mate. I'm 21. You really think I'm not going to find it? But yeah, so it was an amazing day. And the crazy thing is I found out, I spoke to Kevin, and then it blew up online. So I feel like even though I found out the same way as everyone else did, I found out before everyone else did. You know, because no one texted me. And the funny thing is none of my friends knew I was auditioning because I wasn't allowed to tell them. And surprisingly, I did keep that a secret. And then all my friends were texting me like, what, how did this happen? Is this true? Is this true? And for a lot of people, I was like, no, it's just a hoax, I wish. But no, it was an amazing, amazing month, and here I am today.
Do you feel good?
Yeah, he feels good.
Oh yeah, because right now you're my favorite actor.
So is Spider-Man your favorite character?
Yeah.
It is? Have you seen Avengers Infinity War?
Yeah.
What did you think?
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, go Tobey Maguire!
Like awesome. Like this room is like how I think it was a role.
Thanks so much, Angel. That was really amazing. You're a very confident young man. I love the way you just took the microphone there. You've got a future in show business, my friend. I love it. Do you want to go sit back on your seat and then we'll keep going? Or do you want to stay here? No, you stay right here, buddy. You stay right here, man.
Is it, I don't know if the word's unique, strange, and odd to you, how people blur the lines between who you are and who Spider-Man is? The kids look to you as though you are Spider-Man, and in their world, you really are him.
I get the same reaction as I did here tonight when I opened my mouth for the first time and people didn't know I was English.
Yeah.
And they're like, you didn't know I was English? Well, that's because you're my biggest fan. But yeah, so that's always funny when people sort of look at me really confused. And I always put on the thickest, like if I met the Queen type of accent. Hello, how are you today? Thank you. Sing a song?
Are you going to say no now?
Angel, I think they want you to sing a song. Yeah, I don't want to sing either, but me and you both. Let's not do that.
Sorry, we tried.
We tried. I'm Angel's manager now, and let's not do it. Thanks for the offer.
You mentioned the royal family. Have the royal family shown any interest in the Avengers, or have they any fans there that you know of?
I'm just waiting for their kids to grow up, you know, and have William like, would you like to come over for tea? Yes, Your Highness. Yeah, no, they have. I've never met them. I've seen Prince Harry in real life at a rugby game, and he seemed like a nice chap.
You approve?
I approve.
So tell me a little bit about when you did finally get the role. Was it to be in Captain America Civil War, or was it with the idea for the franchise? Was it, what were you auditioning for exactly?
It's definitely Civil War. It was Civil War. I found out, I think on a Friday, and like Monday morning, I was in the Spider-Man suit working with Downey. It was the quickest turnaround process you can imagine. I mean, I think within 3 or 4 days I was on set shooting. And again, that was another situation. It was like I had no idea how big my part was, what my character was going to be like, how they were going to introduce him, what I was going to have to do stunt-wise. And I just went for it, really.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about Civil War, which was a blessing which Toby and Andrew didn't have as much as I love their performances, is that I had a chance to sort of audition for the world. It was such a small role in that film. If what I did, the world didn't like, I had an opportunity to change that before my first film.
Yeah.
And I was just lucky that I had such a positive response and everyone really enjoyed it. So I knew that for Spider-Man Homecoming, all I had to do was exactly what I did on Civil War, just for 100 days in a row, rather than 4 days, you know.
You mentioned, as quickly as you were in the costume on the set, your first impression of being in the costume, because I heard, yeah, let me take it. It's cool.
Yeah, the first time I tried on the Spider-Man costume for Civil War was the most disappointing part of the whole process.
Not why you think. Listen to the story.
Hear me out. I know I sound like an idiot, but... So anyway, so I go to Atlanta to start shooting, and I try on the suit, and I had an amazing stunt double called Marvin, who was actually quite a lot bigger than I was, and he'd already been filming, they'd already made him a Spider-Man suit, and those things take a long time to make. They take sort of 6 to 9 weeks to make. They're very, very expensive. You have to go through like laser scans and then tape measures, and it's just a crazy process. So what they were going to do is I was just going to wear Marvin's suit, and then they were going to tailor it to me so it would fit. So I said to them when I went into the fitting, big moment, you know, trying on the real Spider-Man suit for the first time. I mean, that's like a dream come true. Thanks so much, bro. Thank you.
What kind of first Avenger did you meet?
The first Avenger that I met? Let me think about that. It probably was Iron Man, yeah. It probably was. I think he was the first one I ever met.
Wait, did you like Star-Lord?
I love Star-Lord. Star-Lord is one of my favorite human beings ever. But anyway, so I said... Sorry.
And back to the Spidey suit story.
It's my partner here. What was I talking about?
You were just putting on the suit.
I was just putting on the suit, right, so yeah. So anyway, so... the suit, the Spider-Man suit story. Right. Yeah, so I put this... Hang on, I tell you what I did. I closed all the mirrors in the fitting room. So I couldn't see the suit. I wanted to see it for the first time on, looking great, you know? And I closed all the mirrors, I put the suit on, it felt great. I looked down, I looked like Spider-Man. And then when they opened the mirrors, because Marvin was a lot bigger than I was, it was like a saggy, really gross, sad, old-looking Spider-Man. So it wasn't nearly as heroic as I thought it would be. But it fits now. Do you know what? It's so perfectly made. There's a lovely lady called Robin who makes them. She is amazing. That we were flying from, I think it was Moscow to Madrid or something like that, and Harrison and Harry, my little brother, were on this plane with me, and they left the Spider-Man suit with me, which they never do. Normally they keep it like under lock and key, no one can get to it, and they just, for some reason, they just, like, can you look after this? I was like, yeah, I can look after this, thanks very much. And then as soon as we took off, I was like, who wants to try on the Spider-Man suit? So I dressed my little brother up in it, and he had a similar experience to me, because he's a little smaller than I am, so it was a little baggy on him. And then Harrison, who is quite a bit bigger than me, we could not get that on. The zips like nearly burst and stuff. So it was like if Spider-Man had a growth spurt, that's what Harrison would like. But no, that was a fun flight for sure.
Could you, or have you ever, thought of slipping into the Spider-Man suit and wandering around a Comic-Con or Comicpalooza?
I have. I've been wandering around all day. No one's... Yeah, all day I've been in a Spider-Man costume. No one noticed me. I'm joking. Maybe tomorrow.
So be nice to every Spider-Man you meet. One of them could be him. I'm curious a little bit about the responsibility that comes with the success you've had and what you and your brothers have done, in a sense, to give back.
Yeah, we have a family foundation called the Brothers Trust. It's amazing. Thanks so much.
Aww.
That's so kind. The Brothers Trust, everyone. So I'll explain to you about the Brothers Trust. It's essentially a foundation that my brothers and I run. Well, really, my mum runs it. But we are sort of the face of it, if you like. And we have all these cool events throughout the year that we do, where we raise money for, at the moment, 3 charities we support. We support a charity called Deborah, which helps children that suffer from EB. We help a charity called Momentum, which helps families with poor children who are terminally ill. It helps them go on holiday if they need to, and make sure they have the right equipment, help their lives be more comfortable in hospital. And then we help a fantastic charity in Kenya called Lunchbowl, which helps provide food for kids every day. And an amazing story about Lunchbowl is we found a kid called Joel who was a sort of aspiring ballet dancer. And he used to teach ballet in Kenya, and we brought him over and he auditioned and got into it might be the Royal Ballet School or something like that. Yeah, so he's now in London studying to become a professional ballet dancer. So, what you should do after this is go to the Brothers Trust website, follow us on Instagram, it's just the Brothers Trust, and you'll get updates anytime. You can come along, meet me, my brothers. Last time we did a event, we screened Avengers Infinity War. Afterwards I did a Q&A, everyone hung out with me afterwards, it was really great. We raised a fantastic amount of money for some fantastic causes. So yeah, check it out, and it will really help change the world.
To get this as my birthday present. And can you invite my brother to come over here?
Bring him up.
Oh, here he comes. Wrong franchise. franchise. Sorry, you gotta leave.
Nice to meet you. Aww. You're officially the best brother ever. I would have been like, ha, Harry, stuck it.
Hold on.
Jumping around over there. I was doing my exercise for the day. I was over here jumping around.
Good man.
I was like, you find him on stage, come on.
Tom Holland. I was trying to find like a Spider-Man suit and I couldn't because Disney didn't have my size.
Angel, I have the same problem.
Okay, then.
Well, that's not very good, is it? Come on, Disney.
I wanted to scream, you are all fatties.
That's what you want to say?
Yeah, I wanted to say that.
All right, I'm going to steal this back from. I mean, it is quite an honor to get to interview both of you today.
He's going to be a big star.
He is. He's taking over.
What's your Instagram? Do you have Instagram? You have Instagram? Do you have a Twitter? We need to get you an Instagram, bro. You're going to be a big star.
I can see the first picture right now is going to be the two of them together. Oh, you're going to take that picture right now? This is getting out of control.
There we go.
We all want to see that picture, so get it posted, okay?
Posted.
All right, you get it posted. So back to talking about maybe the suit's not fitting some of us, but it fits you. Physically, what do you have to go through to get in shape to do one of these movies? So many people are confused with how much is CGI, how much your body does, how much... You guys have to do a hell of a, excuse my language, a lot of work to be able to do this.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, excuse me. In England, that's not that bad of a word, but I gather that...
In England, there's a lot more that aren't bad words than here.
Yeah, in England, you can sort of say anything. You know, I train when we make the films 5 or 6 times a week, before work or after work, and then sometimes during work. If we have a late night shoot or we started really early, I'll train at lunchtime. And I train with Harris and we train together, so that makes it easier because we're both sort of doing it together. But I'm training at the moment for my next job, which will be very fun.
Which is?
I don't know. I can't tell you.
You just know you've got to be ready.
All I know is I have to be in shape.
I heard something though in one of the training routines you had to do, they put electrodes on you, and while you're working out, they're zapping you?
Yes, yeah. It's called EMS training. It's...
Do you have your own fan base out here?
I told you, he's already become
brothers
going to become stars after today. No, I tried EMS training and it stopped me from sleeping. It's basically you wear this electronic suit and you do exercises while the suit electrocutes your muscles. It sounds horrific, and it is. No, it's not that bad, it's not that bad. It does really work. It is an amazing piece of kit, but for me, I'm a person who has trouble sleeping anyway. I am like the lightest sleeper you can imagine. Oh, thanks, bro. But yeah, so it stopped me from sleeping. I just was in bed, like I felt like I drank 20 cups of coffee.
Can you do a backflip?
Can I do a side flip? Yeah, you can. I'm just...
Don't try to break Tom's back.
Yeah, he's protecting Tom now.
We've got each other's backs. Thanks so much. As soon as I stand up, I'll get a phone call from my producer, like, sit down. Don't do it.
You know, that brings up another point. There is so much invested in you right now through company, through a conglomerate. You matter to them. How much do you still feel free to be you? And how much do you feel, I mean, there's managers and handlers and contracts and what you have to be available. How do you balance all that?
Did anyone see my family went on a skiing holiday recently? I didn't go to that. No, I did. No, you can't. You're not allowed to do anything like that. Because if you get injured, you have to postpone the film, and that, you know, it costs a lot of money to rent the studios, pay the crews and stuff. So you're not supposed to do anything like that. I tore my ACL on the last week of filming Spider-Man because I was carrying my bags down the stairs, and I just ate it. I just fell. I tore my ACL. I couldn't really walk. So I don't know if you guys. I don't actually know if it's in the film. But there's a scene where Peter Parker's chasing a school bus. It's not from the Toby film, it's from my film. And it's actually Harrison. It's actually my best friend. It's like a really wide shot, and I was like, dude, I don't think I can run, man. I feel like my leg's about to break. And he's like, just give me a jacket. And he did it, and no one ever knew.
So, was the Iron Spider-Man suit, like you couldn't see in it, anything, but first, can you like say something like from your first role from when you did the flip in Civil War?
Yeah.
Can you say it?
The first line?
Yeah, the first line.
Well, if you say it.
On the roof.
Hey guys.
Hold on.
It's hey Andrews. What do I say? Oh, hey everyone. That's what I say, right? Hey everyone.
My best friend wasn't allowed to come here. She does not believe me that I'm on stage, and she's the biggest Marvel fan there is.
Amazing.
Lord, this
Are you gonna FaceTime her? If she doesn't answer, she's gonna be so upset. Can you imagine?
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna put my mic near the phone so we can hear her
I'm
reaction.
sure she has no plans today, so like.
It's really guys.
I have to watch. Her one chance gone. Let's all hear it for poor Alexis.
Next time.
So do you know what's coming out next of Spider-Man, and can you share that with us? Where will we see him next?
I don't know. I don't know.
You know?
Honestly, hand on my heart, I have no idea.
Yeah. Is it hard to work that way? Is it hard to live that way, not knowing they need you, want you, and you're gonna be in something, but not knowing what?
Whenever I have a moment like that, I just watch Spider-Man Homecoming again. I'm still Spider-Man.
How did it? I'm sorry, Angel has a question.
Angel's talking. Oh, she's ringing. It's connected.
Oh, she's trying again. There we go.
You're on stage in front of 3,000 people. Don't swear, don't say anything rude.
The connection works so much better in his suit.
Headphones going in. Thank you so much. You're actually wearing a Spider-Man shirt. That's amazing. Who's that?
I don't know, but...
Well, guys, listen. It's lovely to speak to you, and you guys are amazing. This has been really fun.
I hope you enjoy your stay at Houston.
I will. It's been amazing. Have a lovely day. Bye. Thanks.
There you go.
We're buds now. We've got new friends.
Okay, before I let you go, one thing I think all of us are curious about. I know, he's got things to do. Stan Lee.
Yes.
Meeting with him, what was it like? What kind of interaction did you have with him? Any interaction? Was he filmed at another point, you never saw him, never met him, or have you connected with him?
I met Stan for the first time on Spider-Man Homecoming when he was doing, "Hey Marjorie, how's your mother?" And he was lovely. It was a huge honor to meet him, you know. I mean, just growing up, I've been a fan of his and watching the movies, seeing him pop up here and there. And then the next time I saw him, he was filming like the Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy, and one other film, I can't remember what it was at the same time. It might have been Black Panther. And I saw him as 3 different versions of Stan, like that day. And he is an amazing man, honestly. Like and the thing as well that's amazing about Stan is he loves talking about Marvel. Thanks guys. He loves talking about his journey, how he came up with these characters, where he took the characters, where he wished he took the characters, and thank you so much.
Oh my God!
Amazing. That was real love. That
A nice, delicate little voice loving you. Did you get any insight into the character? Did it help you think of it differently after hearing the true origin from the man who was involved in creating it?
You know, after Civil War, I didn't meet him during Civil War. I met him first in Spider-Man Homecoming, so I lost the ability to speak there. Spider-Man Homecoming. Thanks, guys. I love you so much. But what was I saying? I was talking about Stan. And then Stan said to me at the premiere of Civil War that he approved, and he thought I was great, and he was proud of me, and that he thought I was doing a great job. And for me, like, that's all I ever needed, you know. If you can convince the man who created the character that you are the character, then I felt like I did my job. And thanks so much.
As they scream out, "You're the best," and all that, I think most people in this hall would agree Homecoming is the best of all the Spider-Man movies. To you as not just playing the role, but you as an actor, that you bring a certain compassion and realism to that character that it needed, that brings it alive and makes it feel accessible to all of us that are fans. And I'm curious, what have you...
I love it more! I love it
I'm gonna get
more!
this last question out, and then you can all scream. Oh, are you leaving, Angel?
No, don't leave me.
Oh, Angel's leaving as well. What did you learn about yourself, or to better understand who you are and the journey you've been on from playing the character of Spider-Man?
That's a deep question, man. Everybody buckle up. What have I learned about myself? That I'm awesome. No, I'm kidding.
Because I really not some of Peter Parker's journey is similar to your journey in a way.
Well, I wasn't bitten by a radioactive spider, so I can't relate. No, do you know what? That's a really tough question. I could go on for ages about it. You know, for me, playing a character like Peter Parker, it's kind of like playing your own role model. Because, thanks so much, dude. I love that. Thank you. You're the best. But if I got bit by a spider and got superpowers, I'd tell everyone right away. Immediately, like, oh, by the way, I'm actually Spider-Man. But he doesn't. He keeps it to himself to protect the people closest to him and to remain humble, you know. And that is an amazing thing, especially for someone who grows up in the industry that I've grown up in, to follow, you know. So for me, I haven't learned as much from being the character, it's from sort of watching the character.
You mentioned, you know, you would tell everyone. I've heard a story about you were embedded in a high school here in the U.S. for 3 days to learn what regular high school kids in the U.S. go through, and you didn't keep the secret so well then either.
Does it have a thing? It's meant to shoot something out, right? Whichever toy company makes these, I better get some of these after I've won this.
I'll take you to Walmart to get some!
No, at the high school was so funny because I went to the Bronx School of Science, which is for genius kids, you know, and I am definitely not a genius. And I went to the school like really sort of like, do you know what? I'm going to really try, and I'm going to try and keep up and see if I can figure out what it is that these kids are talking about. And my first lesson was like, maths to a level I didn't even know existed. You know, you see like the whole board covered in numbers, and that was one question. When I was at my school, that was 50 questions, and it was 2 plus 2 is 5. It's 4. It is 4, isn't it? Thanks.
Thank you, Angel.
But yeah, no, it was fun actually. I remember sitting next to this girl in class, and at the school I was going to, you had to go through quite rigorous tests to get in, right? And
Just a reminder, none of the movies have come out yet.
None of the movies have come out yet. Had Civil War come out? No, I don't think it had. I don't even know if I'd shot Civil War yet. No, I must have done. But Civil War hadn't come out. Civil War is the Captain America Iron Man. No, yeah, it has now. We'll talk about it backstage. We'll figure it out. But, so I was talking to this girl next to me, and she's like, dude, how are you here? Like, how did you get into school? Like, I just don't understand. You show up halfway through the term, and you just expect us to accept you? I'm like, it's a bit tough. And I said to her as a joke, in my English accent, I was doing an American accent as well, by the way, while I was there. I was like, do you want to know my secret? She looked at me like I was a madman. I was like, I'm actually Spider-Man. Can you imagine a 19-year-old boy who's never been seen before ever saying that? I think she just thought I was a nut job. She didn't talk to me for the rest of the class. So smooth.
Did you ever wonder what it was like when she finally saw the film?
I don't know. I had it was an amazing experience actually. It was to be in a room filled with kids who were going to go on to do incredible things. The guy who was looking after me was a really nice guy called Arun, and he was studying in robotics. And he is going to go on to learn how to make prosthetic arms or prosthetic legs and help people's lives in a way that I could never do because I just don't have that brain, you know. And it was amazing to sit down with someone who is actually just that clever and has that imagination, but an imagination in a way where they can build things and do amazing things. And it was just amazing to be in a classroom of 30 kids who are probably the smartest people I've ever met and will go on to do amazing things.
Well, I think what you can't miss the fact is all you've done for so many people with giving them the joy, the stories, for being our Spider-Man. Everyone, let's hear it.